I do, yes. I see Nancy Wilson here.
Oh, it wasn't my problem.
Hi there.
Are we working?
I think so. Yeah, I think maybe I have to let some people in.
Okay, great.
Probably. You see like a waiting room?
Oh, I don't see a waiting room. I think we're all there. Have we all been let in?
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi. Is it just starting?
I think it is just starting. Yeah, excuse us for the yeah, the little delay here. Sorry, no one. My name is Billy. Hi, it's a pleasure to meet all you. No one gave me host privileges. Sorry, this is my first rodeo, so I'm just kind of figuring it out on the fly here. Is everybody in that's supposed to be in? Okay, yeah, I see panelists and attendees. I think we're all good to go. Okay, so sorry for the delay, friends.
Is there a way, are you going to try and move the attendees to the panelists? Because I'm not sure if they can.
I only see 3 of us.
Yeah, there's people that are still listed as attendees versus a panelist, so we can't see them.
Gotcha. Okay, I see that now. I'm going to promote to panelist. Here we go.
Perfect.
Here we go. Okay, we're making progress now. We're doing it, you guys.
And I was getting ready to bail. So
I don't blame you. I think like 15 minutes is about my threshold too. Okay. All righty. Okay, good. Everyone who wants to be a panelist is a panelist. We are good to go. All righty, my friends. Thank you so much. So my name is Billy Richard. I'm a senior parks technician standing in for Jillian today. She is off in Arkansas with family. So yeah, I have not attended a meeting for OSAC previously. Is this silly question? Am I running the show, or is someone else?
Well, you're running it up until the time you get us in here, which you just did.
Okay, all righty.
I'm the current chair for
Thank you,
hours
Tim.
longer. And all right, we've got enough here to begin the meeting, so we'll call it to order. This is the March 24th, 2025 meeting of the Open Space Advisory Committee.
We can't see you.
Oh, there's that.
Yeah. Your name is there.
Okay, start video. All right, that looks like me. So it looks like we've got this going. I'll do a quick calling of the members. I'm Tim Beeson, and I'm obviously here. David Conley is not here, and he won't be. Judy Karnak is here.
Yeah.
Cheryl Klein is here.
Yes.
Robin Kovats. There you are, Robin. Great. Anthony will not be here, Tony or TJ. Andrea Sutella is here. Paul Arlinghouse is here. And Nancy Wilson's here. Welcome, Nancy.
Hey, Nancy.
Greetings.
All right.
Book on.
All right. Well, thanks for getting us up and running, Billy.
Absolutely. Sorry about the delay. Yeah, thank you for your patience.
Okay, I think we're going. I don't think it's going to be a long meeting anyway. Okay, first of all, we have one opening for an alternate. And the next item is approval of minutes. We got a whole bunch of paperwork to look through here, but just the minutes are the only ones that we need to edit. So let's begin with item 1, December 9th. Does anybody have anything to say about the December 9th meeting?
And anybody remember the December 9th?
Anything? Okay,
Wasn't that the party?
the what?
Or do we have a meeting and a party?
We had just a party, I believe, in December.
The party, no, we had a meeting on December 9th. It was a
Oh.
makeup meeting for the
Right.
one on November that we didn't have a quorum for.
I see.
Okay. All right, so do we have a motion to accept the minutes for December 9th?
I'll make a motion to accept them.
I will
Okay, do we
second
have
them.
a second? Thank you. Everybody in favor, raise your hand, please. And we have, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us, and then Nancy is abstaining because she wasn't here at that time. So, all right, next, January 27th meeting. Once again, does anybody have anything to say about the January 27th meeting?
I was only there like in and out for 5 minutes, so I probably shouldn't vote.
Okay.
That was right before my mother passed.
All right, let me flip through here and make sure I don't have, oh, I do have something very important. On page 9, we have a statement, motion postpone Committee for Bilbao Trail Development until next meeting, made by Just Karnick. And that should be Judy Karnick. Okay. I don't think anybody will object to that. And let's see. I have nothing else. Nobody has anything else? Then can we have a motion to accept the meetings with the stated modification, the stated edit?
So moved.
A second, please.
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Oh, there you go. Go ahead.
Everybody in favor, raise your hand. And we should have 5 of us, that 5 in favor. Paul?
Oh, I didn't know if okay.
Thank you. So that'll be 5, 4, and 2 abstained. Okay, and the next item is the wonderful February 24, 2025, which I think goes down as my worst job of chairing one of these things. No excuses, just one of those nights. So anyway, does anybody have anything to say about that, about the February 24th meeting? Nobody. Let's see. I've got an edit on page 12, item number 2, and there's the word spend should have been send, and I've got that marked, and I will send that in as an edit. On page 5, or excuse me, page 13, it says at the bottom of the motion, it says 7 in favor and 0 opposed. I think there were only 5 of us here that day, so it should have been 5. And then in the next paragraph down, motion to accept the Bilbao Open Space questionnaire. And motion assent, it should have been motion approved. And I have that marked. And then in item 3A, it says Pikes Peak Wildcats, and it should say Pikes Peak Trail Cats. And that's all I've got. Does anybody have anything else to add to that? Okay, can we have a motion to accept the minutes with the changes cited?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes with the correction cited.
A second?
I'll second it.
Everybody in favor? I think that's all of us except Nancy. So that'll be 6 and 1 abstaining.
No, I didn't vote. I was not present.
Oh, I'm sorry. 5 and 2 abstaining. Okay, is there anything else to say on that? Okay. Moving right ahead, now we got a whole bunch of stuff from Parab. And fortunately, we don't have to edit or vote on this. Does anybody have any comments about the Parab, the 5 Parab meetings that we're getting in one lump sum? Okay, well, I'll just make the comment that I thought was kind of interesting. The Overlook Park, which I'd never heard of. Has anybody been there? To the Overlook Park? I guess it's
Is that up by Red Mountain?
Oh,
no. This is by this is off of the trail to Pikes Peak.
oh, it's not by Higginbotham Flats. It's not up there.
No, other side.
Off of Bar?
The Alpha Bar Trail, yeah. Which is odd because I don't think that's our property, but it looks like there's a park up there that's going to be kind of interesting. I'm going to go visit both of them. So, and the other one is they're making great progress on the stuff over on Higginbotham Flats. And that is all I've got to say on that. There's actually a lot in there, but I guess nothing that we have to worry about or vote on or anything else. Does anybody have anything else to say about that? Okay, we'll move right along to Black Canyon Open Space. And David had some things to say about that. Like I said, he's in Big Bend National Park right now and couldn't make it, which is why I'm here instead of him. So the next item is going to be all the way down to page 33, Bill Bauer Trail Development. And flip on down there. Okay, so what you're going to see there is an email. I hope everybody had a chance to read this from Cassandra. And the question to her was, what are you going to do? And I think, Robin, you had this question at the February meeting. First of all, you said, we need to get down there and take a look at these properties. And I went off on some tangent. And that's right, we probably do need to get down there. And wait a minute, I'm on 2 different things here. This is Bill Bauer Trail. I'm sorry, I'm on a different thing. Anyway, this was the survey that Cassandra was supposed to send out, and Robin, I think you asked, or somebody asked to see what are our options for sending this stuff out. And that was the question that I asked Cassandra, and this is what she sent me back. This was the response. You can take a minute to read through that if you haven't already. It's fairly detailed.
Well, it does mention running an ad in the Pikes Peak Bulletin.
That's one of our options.
Well, I do think as a resident, even on a committee, don't check the city website, and it's tough to keep up with even things going on in our own city. That I'm not sure it wouldn't be a bad idea to run something in the Pikes Peak Bulletin. I'm not sure how much it costs.
Okay.
Run a little something to say, we are, City of Manitou is, OSAC is running a survey of everyone in the on the city website, and please check it out and complete the survey.
Okay. Thank you, Robin. I'll assume now that everybody's read through this, and yeah, I appreciate that, Robin. What I thought we'd do, I broke out every one of these things as a single line, and I thought we'd just go through these, and I'll start the party by suggesting a response to each one of these, and just so we can move through it fairly quickly, because a lot of them are pretty obvious. And so the first one is, when should we start the survey? So we either start at, have me tell Cassandra to start it tomorrow immediately, or we're probably going to be into another month. Because the second question is, how long should we run it? And she said at least 2 weeks. So I'm thinking we probably ought to run it 3 weeks. And if we started it tomorrow, because she says she can get it going like that and stop it like that and provide the statistics from it once we stop it. So does somebody have something to say about that? I'm not stuck on anything here. I'm just throwing something out to get it going.
Why are we in such a hurry?
Pardon me?
You said we should start right away. Are we in a hurry for a specific reason or just to get it done?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Judy. I could hear you. I couldn't understand.
Well, you said we should start right away. But why, is there a specific reason? Are we in a hurry for some reason? Or it's just to get it done?
No, I'm just saying if we want to start right away, then we shouldn't make it any longer than 3 weeks. Otherwise, there's no point. If we're going to wait for another month to start this, then there's all the time in the world, right? So what does everybody else think? Should we try to push this in, or should we take another month? And yeah, Nancy.
It sounds like we need a little more research. I think Robin's idea was probably a good one, but we need to know what putting something in the paper would cost and that kind of thing. And if there's no rush, I don't know, are there other things we should know about before the survey? Do we need to see what it looks like? For example?
We've already done that, Nancy. We've
Okay. Never mind.
seen the questions and voted on it.
Okay.
So we have the survey itself. Now it's just a question of how we distribute it.
Okay. Okay.
But if people are okay, I didn't know if anybody else was in a hurry to get this done for some reason. Let me little sidebar. I talked to Larry Rose again, and we talked for a little bit longer this time. And he's suggesting that he's gonna get this done still. And if it comes back that he cannot subdivide his property, then he's going to suggest that we do an easement for the trail. In any case, that speaks to taking many more months before we get this done. So there's really no hurry on this. And if we want to end the conversation this month on that, that's fine by me. If everybody is okay with saying we're going to wait until April, the April meeting, then well, let's just take a straw vote. Does anybody feel we need to hurry on this?
I haven't heard yet on this.
No.
Absolutely not. Okay. Not a soul. So there's no point in rushing this. We'll postpone it to April. And at this point, you've all seen it and you'll have plenty of time to think about it and see what we want to do. Okay, I have one of the things that, again, someone suggested last month was that we have a map with this. And I put together a map. It's the same old map I've used before with most of the verbiage pulled out of it. And anyway, I'll make sure that David has that for the next meeting so you can look at it and figure out if that's what you want to do. Okay.
Robin had her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Robin.
I had a couple questions. One, do we know when we put the surveys up on the website, what is usually the response? Do we usually get a pretty healthy response? And then my other question is, we need to make sure that we really do get, especially the neighbors surrounding that park. And so
Right.
we do need this city. I think she was asking the specific areas to notify, which, that's one of them. Anyone who's on the boundary of that property, we really want to hear from them.
Right.
And because I'm kind of wondering if we should do the survey, because if all the people around that property and a lot of the citizens are saying, we just would like to keep it open space, no trail, then we don't even need to move forward with an easement and bother with that.
That's one of the items in this list. So you'll be able to deal with that at the April meeting. But I'll pass that on to David. I think if TJ was here, we'd get an argument on that, and the argument would be, this is Manitou Springs property, and I'm playing devil's advocate here. This is Manitou Springs property. It doesn't belong to the people, just the people that live along that canyon, and we should even if they all want to just have a path, a walking path down there, we ought to get other people's input. Andrea, would you say that's correct?
Sure.
I'll admit, if we have everyone who borders it saying, no, we just want to leave it, and everyone else saying, yes, a trail through there, we're going to have a problem. But
yeah, so if you're going to invite their input and then not listen to it,
and
that seems problematic.
This is always a problem with these things, where there's a very interested group of people that are affected by whatever we're going to do, and then everybody else has the stake in it as a citizen, and we run into those problems all the time, and they're not easy to solve.
In this case, I'm wondering if we will get, other than Crystal Hills folks, if we'll get any large response at all, because it does, if it doesn't affect people, they tend not to even say, why should I bother? I don't care what they do over there. And
Right.
I think that's a pretty normal thing when you're talking about a specific geographic location for something.
And that's what we'll find out when we run the.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. I think the people who are living, like we're talking about, in the immediate vicinity, and even maybe a couple blocks every which away from the park.
That may be, we're not going to solve that problem by discussing it. We're going to solve that problem by
doing the survey.
doing the survey. And I understand your thought, Robin, but I think we're going to have to do the survey anyway to justify whatever decision we make, you guys make. So
Yeah, I think the survey should be done coming up, and then move from there to see what the survey says.
right. Okay, anything else that we should talk about tonight regarding?
Who is
Yeah.
is the survey going out to everyone?
Well, that's the
I
question.
thought that's what we had decided.
I thought it was too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought we did decide
The
that.
survey is going out to everyone, but there's also the option to specifically request people that are hardly impacted or something like that. I don't know what her verbiage is, but it's people that have a significant interest in the property. So you can the way she's got this set up, and this is the way the city's got it set up, is you can specify a specific group of people that you want to make sure are notified of this. And I think we have to do that.
Mhm.
We already promised the 3 women that were with us that one night and expressed their interest that we would keep them apprised of this. And I think if we don't notify everybody along that the canyon,
Mhm.
I think there's only 36 people. I mean, it's a lot, but
Mountain View.
you can walk that in an afternoon and pass out flyers. So.
But wouldn't the city in general notify the citizenship period of a survey?
No, I mean, this is what we're doing. This is what the city does. We're looking at what they're going to do. Cassandra is the person that sends these out for the city. So it's up to us to say how we want her to do this. Okay.
I think we need to make sure that she notifies as many people right around that park, whether it's just the people butting up or the people who would possibly use that trail, try to notify them. And then after that, I would consider this Pikes Peak Bulletin ad to get the word out to as many people as possible. Hey, there is a survey, please answer it. And I think we've done our due diligence to try to notify as many people as possible. And then, of course, it's up on the website, on the city. So we've done all 3. I'm not quite sure what else we can do.
Are they not sending it out by email?
Right. That's what I was wondering.
I'm sorry, Nancy.
If they're not, they can send it out via email to everyone.
Yes, they can.
I thought I heard you.
I think that's what they're going to do.
Okay.
If we request for them to do that, that's what they'll do.
But I thought that that's what we voted to do.
Did we vote on that?
Mhm.
I remember it being, I mean, I thought it was appropriate that the whole citizenship gets notified and asked.
Well, that's consistent with what people were saying at that time.
Mhm.
So I'm sorry, I didn't remember that we voted on that. Anyway, okay, so that's been voted on. We're going to send it to everybody. And you've got a bunch of questions here in this list. And it's mainly just how they go about notifying people. Okay, because even if they send this out by email, there's a large percentage of the people that are just going to delete it.
And that's their choice, but,
Yeah,
but still, they're given the opportunity.
Yes, but by sending it out, either by mail or by a text, you notify people a second time, and especially the people that have an interest will much more likely be answering it. Okay, I don't think there's anything else we can
And that's
resolve
true
here.
about, that's true about everything.
Pardon?
voting, voting,
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of,
going
there's-
to a parade, you know,
but
whatever.
most of them are yes and no questions. It's pretty simple to go through. But you can do that in April. All right.
Mhm.
Everybody satisfied with that?
Mhm.
Okay. Then let's go down to existing development. And as always, Andrea's on the list for that. Anything going on?
Don't have anything other than, well, so there's the Wildcat Gulch project that Dave has been working with Jillian and Shanti on, and so they have a game plan in place for that.
Right.
And then Dave and I are meeting with Jillian next week to talk about maintenance projects for the upcoming season and help prioritize some projects for whatever groups might be able to help us out with those.
Great. The signage on Creek Walk and the old Inman Trail, I don't know that we're going to get far without David. I think what David wanted to do was just have this on the list. So we keep tapping away on it until it actually got done. I don't have any further information on that. I don't know if anybody else does either.
I do. I've got a note in the director's comments
Oh,
that
great.
Jillian
Thanks.
gave me. Yeah. So I would assume this includes the signage on Creek Walk and Old Intinman Trail as well. But she's headed it wayfinding enhancement project update. So I'll read through this section for you real quick. So this project is temporarily delayed due to the departure of Wendy and Savannah. Those were the two parks techs that were working on it. An order has been placed with Rock Art Industries for Carsonite posts and decals for the Intamin Trail, Iron Mountain Trail, and Red Mountain Trail. These decals may take up to 8 weeks to arrive. We initially tried to do this in-house, but the results did not meet our expectations due to their size. As of now, we have successfully produced 8 ready-to-install 5-inch by 5-inch Intamin Trail decals. Installation planned for April.
Great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Billy. Well, I think that's probably all we have to say on that. Correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Billy. Next item is planning department, and we've got a couple of things in here, and one is the list of all the open space parcels and parcel numbers. There's 38 of these, which means there's another 18 that are either public facility or parks. But we have 38 new properties here. And one of the things I'd like to say about that, the thought of going around and looking at these and checking the problem, especially on fire prevention, is all well and good. But what we found out with the miscellaneous parcels, the odd lots, is that nobody's going to pay any attention to it if it just comes from OSAC, especially anything to do with fire issues. That's going to have to be, whoever does that will have to be under the purview of the Manitou Springs Fire Department, or it's just going to get ignored, probably for good reason. We're not experts on that. So it would be good if OSAC members broke some of this out and walked it and took a look at it.
No.
That's probably something for April. Okay. The question is, what do you do with that data? we've been through this exercise, and the answer is
Okay.
the one thing that it did for us on OSAC was get the monkey off our back that we weren't paying attention to the odd lots. But outside of that, that was it. We tried sending it to planning. Planning didn't pay any attention. They were busy changing the guards or whatever. So that was a lot of work. It did accomplish, like I said, getting noticed that we had done this job, but that's about it. So you need to think about that and how much effort you're going to put into that. And maybe somebody can contact Judy. Maybe you can contact the fire department and see if there's any way that we can be of help to them on these fire issues. I know that David was going to talk about one of the issues he had for Black Canyon was to talk about how do we go about doing the fire mitigation, or what are the steps that we need to take in order to make that happen. But he's not here, and he was the one working that issue, and I don't have that information. So that's about it on that, unless somebody else has something to say. Gone.
Yeah,
Yes.
So when I moved in, there was a weird little rectangle behind my house, kind of behind my neighbors, landlocked, and that's kind of how I first found out about open spaces. So that's a really tiny open space. And I mean, my thing was like, I mean, there's no way that anyone can access that except for a couple of us who border it. Just thinking out loud will we want some sort of program where we try to get folks to adopt these small, isolated, open spaces and do things like invasive control or fire control, or just keep an eye on them.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
There is an Adopt a Park and Adopt Open Space program that the city does. And we have had people adopt like trails. I'm not exactly sure what that entails. Maybe they just donate money or something. But I know they have a small program like that currently going.
Yeah, it just may be like, I mean, actual just hitting the ground and like, finding these tiny little parcels, and then going and talking to the folks that border those and say, hey, would you like, here's a program that's available if you're interested. But it may take some outreach efforts.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And like Andrea said, we do have a program in place for doing that. So,
Well, I think that program is for parks and trails, and it's cleaning up trash. Mostly on the parks. It's doing weeding and stuff. But I think this open space would be a totally different idea, and I think it's a good one. If you get the people around it to talk to the fire department, and what can the residents do who adopt the open space? They'd be the small ones, that are inside around the city. And what can we do for citizens to mitigate that we can do, and not necessarily have the fire department come in? But I think that's a good idea.
well, Paul, would you be interested in exploring that and talking to Jillian, find out what the process is, and figuring out if open space can actually do that?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I adopted the Iron Mountain Trail, so I'll kind of use that as a guinea pig to see how the process works.
I'm sorry, which did you?
I adopted the Iron Mountain Trail.
Oh, okay, great. Well, you're on it. All right, I'll pass that along to David. Just let me make a quick note here.
I think it sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
Tim?
I will say I was talking with Kendra Ray and Jeff Berry a couple of weeks ago with David, and Jeff Berry is still talking about trying to purchase that piece of property behind his house that has is not accessible to anyone else, and he wants it. He said, "I'll pay $20,000 for that." And yeah, I reiterated that that brings up all sorts of political problems and whatever. So anyway,
Yeah.
I was glad to hear you say adopt. That's a little more manageable.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like my neighbor and I are like, what the heck is this, parcel? And we're like, well, let's go to the city and see if it's something that we can acquire. And when they said it was open space, we're like, oh, well, I mean, we just didn't want it to be something that someone else could
Yeah.
buy and be in our backyard.
That becomes the problem. If we're going to sell something like that, then we have to advertise it. And all of a sudden it turns into it. And all of a sudden somebody else that gifted it to the city
Ticked off.
sooner or later is going to have their toes stepped on. So we went through this and decided
Yeah, I don't think.
probably
Yeah,
worth the brain damage.
Jim?
Yeah. Or I'm sorry. Yeah, Judy.
Yeah. I just want to say that I actually had a similar discussion with Mike at the fire department.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of a sideways. It was a tangent we went off on. But one of the things he said was that we have to keep in mind that it's a very limited amount of energy that they can expend in this project, even though they would like to do it more, because frankly, they have their hands full. As the example he gave was the water tower where the fire hit. And he said they had just finished mitigating that literally like the week before. And if it hadn't been mitigated, they would have never gotten those trucks in there.
Yeah.
His point was they have big projects that we may not or may be aware of, but are really eating up a lot of time. And so when we were having this discussion just now about getting the fire department involved, I thought of maybe it would be a suggestion, instead of barraging them with neighbors who are calling to say, could you come out and look at this property? Could you tell us? Maybe it would be better, because he's probably in his head at least already there. Maybe it would be better to ask Mike if he and whoever else could put together a pamphlet, a guide on mitigation that people could just look on the internet or they could pick up or something, as opposed to trying to get an appointment with a fireman, one of our firemen, to come out and because if they try to do that for all these people, for people who want to, I think they're going to end up hearing no. We can't book you till 2026. Do you know what I mean? And maybe it would be better to have a guide that people could access.
What would you want that guide to accomplish?
I would want it to accomplish taking some of this pressure that we're assuming the fire department can handle off of it. Because
Yeah.
I just don't see them able to do all this. I mean, I think Mike may.
No, I understand, but I don't see the fire department putting together a pamphlet that is going to allow citizens to go out and say, yeah, we need to cut this down. We need to remove vegetation and stuff like that. That's going to require some professional handling.
Mm.
And I think David is aware of that with Black Canyon, that we're going to end up spending money to get that mitigated.
Yeah, but I can see, am I right? Didn't Mike say that they would come out and look at that? Because it's a big piece and lots of people would be using it?
Yeah, they're going to look at Black Canyon for sure.
But can they look at all these little pieces that are on our list? I don't think so.
Yeah, Nancy.
Yeah, I think Judy has a good point. They don't have time to do it, but I think a pamphlet kind of already exists. I think it's called Smart Homes. You know, the fire department has done a bunch of kind of community resource things about how to protect your home from fire, and it includes a lot of things that could apply to open space. And I mean, I would encourage us to talk to the fire department first, but I'll bet you they already have something that could start people in the right direction. It's just about clearing underbrush and, some basic things that begin to mitigate fire. I'll bet you there are brochures that are, part of either the National Forest Service or that they have here locally or whatever that kind of do address some of that without having to reinvent the wheel. I think it's something we
An interesting thought. I wonder if that's true.
Well, I know they have it for rural homeowners. And if we're talking about, a little space that's adjacent to homes, it behooves people who live close to that space to mitigate it. And so I mean, when I come back, I'd be glad to research it with the fire department, but I think there are some materials in existence that.
Yeah, that's great.
Getting them started.
Yeah,
that's great. I just wonder if they can really tell people, citizens, to go out and start cutting down trees.
Yeah, I don't think we can do that. I don't think we can do that, and I don't think. And
most serious limits.
Most mitigation does not involve cutting down big trees at all. So, yeah, I think
that's a great idea, Judy. Thank you.
Can I call Mike and ask?
Yeah, please do.
And I just came up with something when Nancy was talking. We could call it adopt a plot. I think it's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, here comes the voice of reason.
Yeah, Judith.
Oh no, I think this is a fantastic idea. And the scope is large, but the fire department also has already color coded all of the properties in Manitou with regards to fire risk. And so I think it would be a great idea to work with the fire department and take a look at those open space parcels that are surrounding the most hazardous areas first. If you're going to start, a small and work big, because I think that the city would really get behind that. I think it's a great idea. And I think OSAC, kind of being the group that starts this going, I think is a phenomenal project. And I also would say that you could get some other volunteers via, like, Pikes Peak Permaculture is doing a lot of fire mitigation, and also volunteers through the Manitou Springs Garden Club. So if you put it out there and said we need volunteers, I think you'd be surprised at how many people would be willing to volunteer. So I think it's great. I think you should go for it.
That's great. I hadn't thought about that. Paul, thank you. Grab your chainsaws and let's go.
Hospitals will be busy. Whoa.
Well, just remember they're city-owned properties, so you have to have the city check off on it, and probably the fire department, if they come, because you have a beautiful list of open space parcels that you've cataloged. Now you can go back and catalog that they've been fire mitigated, and you've had a rubber stamp from the fire department. So that's also just another layer of awesomeness. So just an idea.
No, I think it's a great idea. I hope they will allow a bit of work to be done. Okay, the next thing is the link to the map. Did anybody get a chance to look at that? Play with it at all? No, and no. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
You did, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay. Yeah. Did you figure out a way to blow it up to a full page on your computer or whatever?
I thought I was able to zoom in on it. Where did that page go?
Okay.
I would have liked to have been able to see all the like all the open space parcels, not just the ones that are changing zoning though. But
Sure,
see.
sure. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it.
I have a question.
Yes, Cheryl.
I'm sorry to have missed 2 meetings, but did I miss? I think that David had accepted to be the next chair, correct?
Yeah, that's, you don't have to do that, actually. I've run this by Jillian, and it just happens. When I resign, David will be the chair.
As the vice chair, you mean?
The vice chair will be the chair, yes.
And so, okay. So we have a chair, and that's it.
No vote needs to be done. Yeah, and then what will happen is, and it'll be up to David. He will set up votes, an election for himself, for the chair, and also for a vice chair at some point in the future. And that's pretty open for the chair. So there's nothing more that has to be done. It will happen. And if that's all, thank you all very much.
Well, I have some director's comments. I've got a
Oh,
couple.
I'm sorry. Thank you very much. I always
No worries.
Yeah,
no worries. It's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So yeah, I think we already touched on one point. I've got just a couple others. So yeah, I'll start take it from the top. So Mike Willie, our Manitou Springs Fire Department lieutenant, confirmed that fire mitigation in Black Canyon open space does not need to precede trail construction. So yeah, we don't need to do that mitigation before the trail happens. We can do it after. So
That's
we
good
have,
to know.
that is a good thing to know. Yeah, logistically,
Yeah.
that'll help a lot in planning, I think.
I think you guys need to talk about whether that's really the right property to test out the fire mitigation on.
Yes, sir.
It's a pretty fragile piece of property. Okay.
So we also have a handful of new staff. One of them is me. My name is Billy Richard. I'm a senior parks maintenance worker and horticulturalist. She added that. I don't think that's an actual part of my thing. That's just where I come from. That's what my background is. But yeah, hopefully you'll start to see a lot more native plants around.
Yeah, you're now the IT guy.
Yeah, that too, apparently, right? A lot of hats on this head.
Yeah.
Baron Anderson is a parks maintenance worker that just recently came on board. He had his first week last week. A very promising young man. I've had a great time working with him. Rachel Orr is our new cemetery caretaker. That's actually what I started out at, the first 6 months, and then I made that little lateral transfer. So yeah, Rachel Orr is very skilled. She's great at it. She has a long history in the cemetery business. We are in the process of hiring 2 seasonal parks maintenance technicians. We actually just put out job offers today. So hopefully those folks will be coming on board in just a couple weeks, as long as we can get them through HR. Josh Rady, our GIS technician, has accepted another position. Yeah, I know. So his last day was the 24th. I guess it was today. So a temporary employee will fill the position for now. We already talked about the wayfinding enhancement project update, on hold a little bit since we've had a couple people leave. We're having some great people on though, so yeah, we'll get that project rekindled. Also some rezoning dates. We've mentioned that a couple times throughout the meeting. So the first reading at City Council is going to be April 1st, so just around the corner. The second reading is April 15th. And yeah, and that's the end of my director's comments. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion?
I have a comment. Well, I would like, no, because I have a comment. I would just like to thank Tim for all of your service, for your leadership, your service and your leadership as our chair for how long?
Well, thank
3
you.
years?
Things have
2
gotten
years?
a little rough over the last few
I
months.
just wanted to thank you.
I
Here, here.
appreciate that, Cheryl.
Absolutely. I looked it up. It's a little shy of 2 years, but it's been
Yeah.
a long 2 years.
That's been a long time. We've gotten a lot done.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot
Yeah.
still to do. Thank you very much, and I appreciate every single one of you, and hope you keep up the good work.
You sure you don't
Thank
want
you.
to be an alternate?
I don't think I can get voted in right now, actually. So
Bet you could.
I would, I don't know, I'd think about that. Anyway,
Do think about it.
thank you all very much, and it's really been a pleasure, and certainly an education. And I'll see you on the street.
On the hikes, on the trails.
Thanks.
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second? Good night.
Good
And
night.
thank you all,
Okay.
and thanks again, Billy.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
Tim. I appreciate it.
And
Yep,
welcome
Jillian.
aboard, Billy. It's great to have you.
Thanks a lot. It's great to be here. Yeah, I look forward to working with you folks. Have a great night.
Thank you.
All right, good night.
Good night, Paul.
Good night.